Hi there, so it's July 11th, 2022. I'm actually in Chamonix, France now, but I wanted to do a post-race vlog recap on this series of UTMB training of my race 2 days ago, the Verbier Marathon out in Switzerland in the Alps. It was actually more like 45 kilometers, about 28 miles, with nearly 13,000 feet of climbing, about 4,000 meters of climbing, so very steep trails. Pretty high altitude, higher altitude than UTMB actually, but not higher than I'm used to in Colorado. Of course, I have the altitude advantage coming from 2,000 meters, 7,000 feet in Salida. I'm used to going up to 10,000 feet, which is what the race topped out at about, I think a little over 3,000 meters. So pretty high altitude climb. And, you know, I was sixth place overall. Sixth place, I guess I was second masters too, the masters category, making me feel old. It starts at age 35, so I'm in the masters category. I got second place masters, first American. Amazing race, spectacular. The pictures don't do it justice. We had to cross this like suspension bridge. There are these crazy views of this giant glacier, these glaciated mountains. It was more technical than the UTMB track, especially the first downhill, the descent, very steep, rocky, but I'm used to that, the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, but everything's steeper over here in Europe generally compared to the US. So did get in some good quad pounding. The legs actually felt really strong. That was a big positive. My hip and back were feeling pretty good. What wasn't feeling good, of course, was my lungs. More on that later. So anyway, we had a nice bus ride down. It was a point-to-point race. You could see the B-roll here. It was a nice leisure start at 10 a.m. too. I kind of liked that. So, you know, we took a bus down from Verbier down to Lid, I think it's Lids. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but lost in altitude, about an hour drive on the bus. Really well organized though, windy roads though. And we had a nice media event, or headed to the bathroom line. All right, getting in a little warm-up jog. Try to go to the bathroom one last time. Feel good with the sleep with the jet lag. GI system not as adjusted to the time zone difference. And I ate dinner nice and early last night, so it's a little alarming, but we'll see. I shot some media on my little camera, my Insta360 Go 2, that I was going to film more during the race, but it ran out of battery, unfortunately. So these are the only shots I have. Run the B-roll, me at the start there.
Good luck.
Cheers. Thanks. You too, man. Yeah. Oh, speed goat. Nice.
Cabane de Mills, you need to get the way to Les Rogneux.
Attention, alors peut-être apparemment, je sais que tu aimes ça, apparemment il y a plus de dames.
La féminité dans le monde du sport, mesdames et messieurs, elles sont peu nombreuses et elles méritent tous vos applaudissements.
Allez, attention, les dames, il nous reste 3, 2, 1, go!
Et c'est parti pour ces 45 km de pistes et de sentiers. Sauf que l'on a partagé tous ensemble du premier au dernier kilomètre.
And then finally, the final minutes at the starting line going into the race, meeting a lot of great people like the RD, who was very supportive, the UTMB World Series announcements really supportive as well. They highlighted some of the top women, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, it was getting pretty warm already on the starting line at lower altitude, but I like it kind of hot. I don't like it when it's cold and rainy, and it was a great day because it was a bluebird day. We had lots of great views on the first massive climb, which was like close to 2,000 meters probably. It was like a double VK straight up this hill. And, you know, I was filming the start there. I wanted to film more scenery, but my camera battery ran out of battery and I was fumbling around with it. And honestly, I was breathing so hard, I couldn't really muster much energy to even get out the camera and film anyway. It's, you know, hard enough just to get like a gel out and eat it because I was breathing so hard. And that's the unfortunate thing that I didn't feel good about the race, to be honest, and it was disappointing because, you know, you want to go for the win. I want to go for podium, top 3 at least, and I fell short of that. And, you know, it's a hard reality when I'm going with the lead pack at the start, the first couple miles. Shout out to the winner. I'll put his name there so I don't mispronounce it, but he was from China, ran an amazing time course record, as well as the top women who also ran course records, I believe, on a pretty hot day. And all the guys that finished ahead of me, and actually all the runners that I met that finished, and a lot of people that said hello, I really appreciate it. But, you know, people cheering me on during the race, and the spectators and aid station support, as well as the organization, was really top notch. But the reality is, you know, I knew my breathing was off within the first couple miles, just like canyons. And even at the lower altitude, I don't seem to do much better at lower altitudes. It seems to still be this breathing issue where I have kind of this pain across my diaphragm, like having a really bad side stitch, except instead of just part of the race or on one side, it's on both sides of my lungs, and it's for the entire race. So there's a lot of pain involved there, and it really hurts to breathe, and it feels like my lungs are getting stiff, my lungs are burning, and I'm just not able to pull the high heart rates that I used to pull when I'm climbing especially. But on the downhill, you know, things are falling apart as well. So you're dealing with the skeletal muscular stress, the quad pounding on some of the downhills, which my quads are holding up pretty well. My hip and back were feeling really good. My trekking pole action needs a little work, but wasn't too bad. I was getting really coordinated. I was really happy with my nutrition plan, dialing in the Spring Energy gels, also having to grab random stuff at the aid station because I didn't have crew support and I was running out of my Spring Energy products, fumbling around, not knowing which was carbonated water or gas water versus still water. That caused some explosions in my hydration pack. But anyway, I digress there. That brown drink was really good. It was like an electrolyte fluid that I'd had in my little beaker cup. Really saved the day because I was getting pretty dehydrated at the end. But the diaphragm was hurting. The stomach muscles were tensed up. I just can't feel like my lung function is concerning. And I think it's probably the scar tissue from the pulmonary embolism. And, you know, they say that's irreversible damage. So not sure what else I could do. It actually upset me so much during the race, I almost started crying. I get emotional anyway because you're low on blood sugar, but, you know, just thinking of how I used to run and used to feel during races versus how I felt at canyons and at this race, it really upset me. And seeing those guys pull away was tough, but it was amazing competition, and these are great runners, and it's an amazing course. But I don't know exactly what I could do heading into UTMB in terms of like breathing exercises, or, you know, I already have asthma and allergies that are pretty bad. They're actually worse here in Chamonix, I realize. Colorado, my allergies are usually under control, but when I go anywhere else, it seems to crop up, tree pollen, grass pollen. So have the asthma and allergies, scar tissue in the lung from the pulmonary embolism, probably not helping things, a lot of pulmonary artery pressure on my heart. But, you know, I've trained at altitude and no excuses, and maybe, I could toughen up a bit. All right, I just finished. Pretty rough, getting pretty nauseous. I think I need a beer now. At least the drink. It's hot, it's competitive. Ran under 6.5 hours though, so that was good. I gotta recover though. A little sweaty. Cool shirt. And Masters, second place, Masters. Exhausted. Just got back to the Airbnb. Feeling a bit rough. It feels like my diaphragm's cramped up. Like, it's indented here on my right lung, just like stiff, and like, it's like when you have a side stitch during a race, which happens, except it was during the whole race, and it's like this searing pain through your diaphragm, kind of on both sides. So it's like stiff lungs on fire, and searing pain, which kind of, I think, the muscles are like tense around my diaphragm. So it was all cramped up, and it gave me stomach issues at the end. Got a little dehydrated maybe, almost threw up, but we finished. We made it. Got a little lost too. But yeah, more thoughts on this later. I gotta eat some berries. I went to the store right after the race. Got these things, Liquid Gold here, and I'm gonna drink a beer. I should probably cut back on some beer, honestly.
between now and UTMB for recovery, but beer sounds pretty refreshing and good right now, as well as sparkling water. That stuff's good.
But yeah, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be heading into UTMB. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but that's kind of the reality of it. And it's also the reality, like we said in the film Starting Over by Steven Ganoza, which you could see on the Mutt Running channel. It's a reality that pro runners face as they get older anyway. As you get into your 40s, if you've trained really high level at really high intensities for a long time since your early 20s, your VO2 max is probably going to drop around the age 40. And I just thought I could be a badass like Max King or someone and still be going for overall wins in short distance mountain running in my 40s, even though I'm only 36 now. But maybe that reality, it aged me a little earlier, the pulmonary embolism, and I'm facing, these tough health consequences because of that. But the doctors also said I should stop running because of my hip and my back issues, and those are actually feeling better now after doing some dedicated PT exercises and really focusing on my form. So I am optimistic about the hip and back feeling a lot better, getting the glute activation and building up that glute med strength and glute max strength on my weak side. So that seems to be heading in the right direction for UTMB, but we're in Chamonix now because it's close by. I took the train, public transportation here. And I want to show the rest of the UTMB course. I'm going to do some recon, or recce as they like to say, I guess, over here, of the whole course, the whole UTMB track, which is a very popular hike for the most part. 106 miles, 170K, 33,000 feet of climbing, 10,000 meters of vertical. I'm going to do it as a soft UTMB. A lot of times we joke in the US, people do soft rock instead of hard rock because you do it over like 3 or 4 days. You stay in a hotel in each town. It's still really hard because you got to do 20 or 30 miles each day, 32 to 45, 50K each day with a lot of vertical. But if you plan it right and the weather holds and you have a big pack on that you could kind of hike and run maybe with, you could stay in a nice hotel, or most people that hike the UTMB track probably stay in huts if they don't want to go that far and they have a big heavy pack on, but those get booked up and they're not quite as comfortable as a luxurious hotel with a shower. So I'm going to try to fast pack the UTMB course this next week here. It's going to be a great time because I want to see some of the sections of the course that I've never seen in the daylight. So it's a great opportunity to be out here. I feel super fortunate to be back here in Chamonix, the birthplace of alpinism. It's such a magical place. Verbier was also amazing to see. First time there in that valley. The Alps, the mountains here in Europe, for the most part, are just so much different from the Rockies and anything I've seen really in the US. Maybe the Canadian Rockies might give it a run for its money. I haven't been up to like Banff or anything, but and other places of the world, I'm sure. But it's so amazing here in Chamonix. It's like coming back after so many years since I did UTMB last, and just really it's one of my favorite places in the world to be. And it's just, people have been really friendly. There's so many athletes here, well-rounded mountaineering culture, mountain culture, as well as, there's a lot of tourism as well. Me being a tourist, and it's cool in that way, but there's also a great vegan scene. I've had some great meals here. I went to my favorite monkey bar here in Chamonix, and you can see the clip there, as well as I got a lunch today. Forget the name of the place. I'll show some B-roll there. Got a nice healthy lunch there. I got a alcohol-free beer and gluten-free beer as well. And then tonight just had an amazing, probably the best vegan burger I've ever had in my life so far at this newer place that I'd never been to, Sesame, here in Chamonix. You could see the clips there, and you get the views of Mont Blanc, but also all the other mountains along the skyline on both sides of the valley. It's just really spectacular. But I got a big week planned. I was walking around today, haven't run since the race. Legs are definitely sore, but I got a big week ahead of me because I'm going to try to do this whole UTMB course in the next 4 days, 3 nights away. Break it down, try to film with you. I'm going to haul around maybe the drone, the GoPro, the Insta360 camera, get you guys some footage, and it'll be future episodes for the vlog here for this series, Training for UTMB. Really excited to get out on the course and see some of these mountain climbs in the daylight, and hopefully the good weather holds. It's been hot and dry and not too cloudy and rainy. So yeah, for the camera gear and for seeing the views, I want it to stay clear. But I'll be doing that, and it'll be a massive training week. But really excited and just feel really fortunate to be here. And it's really all been possible because of the support of Patreon supporters and viewers like you on YouTube, as well as the sponsors. Shout out title sponsor Hoka. Oh, and yeah, about the race, you know, I was in 5th place most of the race in the Verbier Marathon. I was coming down the final descent, and stupid me, of course, I was kind of getting lightheaded and a little nauseous, honestly. I took a wrong turn in the last kilometer. You could kind of see it on Strava there. Lost a couple minutes, but was able to regain it. Well, I waited for the next guy to come, basically, and we kind of finished together. He was really nice because he got me back on course. I knew I was off course because my chorus was going off, but I couldn't pinpoint the track exactly, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I forgot my drop bag at the finish line. Almost threw up. More on that later, but yeah, it was, you know, it was a solid effort. I can't say it was a better step forward compared to Canyons. It was a totally different race. Generally, I've had some really rough goes in the Alps here. Besides my last time at Sierras and all, I ran pretty strong. But otherwise, the Alps are totally different from US mountain running. So sometimes it's really hard to put together a good race, especially with the jet lag and the difference in vertical. But, you know, I'm learning. I'm trying to optimize things. I'm better with the poles now, better with the gear. So I think it, you know, it was a step in the right direction. Sorry, my throat's getting clogged up here. It's the allergies, I tell you. But anyway, you know, enough of that. I want to get forward, want to move forward for UTMB, want to keep running. You know, it's been tough with the lungs and the breathing, and I think that's the main thing that's kind of a limiting factor now. So I got to optimize my leg strength. I got to optimize my core strength. I got to optimize my form, my nutrition, hydration plan. Mental strength has got to be there as well, and pacing strategy to try to just improve at UTMB, and that's going to be the goal. So thank you again so much for everyone that supported our coaching business, higherrunning.com. Coach Sandy and I sell training plans there, as well as, yeah, all the sponsors. Again, thank you so much. Thanks for watching this. Hope you're doing well. Let me know how you're doing in the comments below, and there'll be more training talks. Might be a bit of a break here as I'm on the road traveling quite a bit every day, but we'll see, and I'll try to shoot some footage for you guys. So thank you so much, and stay tuned for more via 2Max Productions.
Tu es attendu pour ton cadeau par catégorie. Joanna, we are waiting.
All right, good job. Found this cool spot here. Gunpowder, it's called. It's a restaurant, Indian food. They've got some veggie curry, vegan curry. So I'm gonna try that for dinner. I'd like to be able to cheer on the runners as they come into the finish here. Got my samosas there. This looks like a tasty recovery dinner. Just for the video. It's a big dog. Hey!
La fille était déjà fausse. Pas tout à fait. Non, elle est sortie à 2, c'est juste. Il était 10h15. C'est que de la voile, mais j'ai pensé là.
On the second place with 6 hours 46 minutes from Slovenia, Martina Posek.
C'est clair, c'était ça.
La deuxième place avec un temps de 6h46. Et à la première place, mesdames et messieurs, en 6h41, la petite française Lucie Roche. Les 5 dames les plus rapides de ce marathon, mesdames et messieurs, de la 5e à la première place, Laura Dose, Sophia Benitzer, Cecilia, Pedroni, Martina Patrick et Lucie Roche. Elles sont les dames les plus rapides. We arrive with 17 minutes on the front. before the followers. They come from China. 5 hours, ça finit 4 minutes. Il nous vient de Chine. Il mettra 5h34, 17 minutes d'avance devant ses poursuivants. Mesdames et messieurs, un tonnerre d'applaudissements. Make some noise for Mr. Cheng Jingcheng. 5h34, 45 km, 4000 mètres de dénivelé positif et négatif. Monsieur Cheng Jingcheng. Vous pouvez applaudir, mesdames et messieurs,